I love the Audio Book of Mormon. When I was a teenager, it was the Audio Book of Mormon that got me really excited about the scriptures, really listening to it, really getting involved in the stories and the doctrine that was being taught. And so I was so excited when I had my own kids and I knew that I'd be able to share with them the scriptures and wouldn't have to wait till they were teenagers to get the scriptures in an audio form. Well, you can imagine my disappointment when I stuck it in and they just wandered off and weren't interested at all. I thought, oh, I love the audio scriptures. What's wrong? And then I realized something. There's no audio scriptures for kids. I mean, they've got those cool little story read-along things that are not word for word from the scriptures, but they're nice little scripture stories and so forth. Great for kids. But there's no scriptures that are word for word just for kids. And I'm sitting here thinking, why has nobody made an audio scriptures for kids? And then it suddenly occurred to me, I can make some. And so I started. And after making the first chapter, just as an experiment, I went and put it in the front room, turned on the audio, and just waited to see what would happen. The kids, all four of them, started kind of wandering in the room. What's this? What's going on? And they come and they're staring at this blank screen because it's just audio, but they're staring at this blank screen, listening intently. When it gets to the end of chapter 1 of 1 Nephi, my 5-year-old says, Daddy, can we play another one? And I thought, score for Daddy! So I made chapter 2, and they loved it, and asked for more. So I made chapter 3, and they listened, and they laughed, and they asked questions. I mean, relevant questions, good questions. And they wanted to hear it again, and I had to replay the whole Book of Mormon up to that point. Now keep in mind, all of my kids are under the age of 7. All 4 of them are under the age of 7, and they're all 4 enjoying it. Okay, the 1-year-old was wandering around a little bit, but she kept tuning in. And just so you can get an idea what I'm talking about when I talk about scriptures for kids, let me show you a little sample of my kids listening. Now here's listening with the regular audio scriptures that you can get just about anywhere.
Came to pass that my father Lehi, as he went forth, prayed unto the Lord, yea, even with all his heart in behalf of his people. And it came to pass, as he prayed unto the Lord, there came a pillar of fire, and dwelt upon a rock.
Now here's listening with the audio scriptures for kids. It came to pass that my father, Lehi, as he went forth, prayed unto the Lord, yea, even with all his heart on behalf of his people. And it came to pass that as he prayed unto the Lord, there came a pillar of fire, and dwelt on a rock before him. And he saw and heard much. And because of the things which he saw and heard, he did quake and tremble exceedingly. And it came to pass that he returned to his own house at Jerusalem, and he cast himself upon his bed, being overcome with the Spirit and the things which he had seen. And being thus overcome with the Spirit, he was carried away in a vision, even that he saw the heavens open, and he thought he saw God sitting upon his throne, surrounded with numberless concourses of angels, in the attitude of singing and praising their God. And it came to pass that he saw one descending out of the midst of heaven, and he beheld that his luster was above that of the sun at noonday. See what I mean? So I kept making them. By the time I finished chapter 4, I only had one problem. These were kind of hard to make. They take a little while to do, and they're a lot of work. Since I'm also working to try to make a living for my family, I'm trying to think, how am I going to do all these? I mean, this is going to take, let's see, First Nephi, for the 23 chapters, 23, oh, it's got like 63 chapters. I'm getting what, like one done a week? Sometimes every other week? First Nephi, 23 chapters, 23, Second Nephi, 33 chapters. Now keep in mind, all this time I'm putting them up on the web for everybody to share. I want everybody to hear these. I want everyone's kids to think the Book of Mormon is awesome. My kids are already thinking that. 63 plus 16 or 15, 15 or 16 plus 30 plus... how many chapters are in this book? And you know what I figured out? With only having my spare time to work on this is going to take like 5+ years. My kids won't all be kids anymore. Well, okay, so they'll be older kids, but think about your kids. They could be growing up in that time. And if they're not growing up in that time, there's something wrong with them. Okay, I guess there's Peter Pan. But even he would enjoy this, right? Less talking, more useful information. I can't see. Honey, how do you wash googly eyes out of socks? Then somebody came to me and said, you should do a Kickstarter. So I threw together this Kickstarter project. Okay, I didn't throw it together. I really worked hard and got everything organized and planned the prizes, all kinds of fun stuff. And now it's up and it's ready to go. All we need is for you to either help out by funding or by passing the word on. Or even better, both. Now remember, We're trying to create this to be available to everyone. We want this to be open to everyone to be able to share with their kids. And so this funding is to be able to make it so that I have the time to work on it. We can reduce these years down to months. I mean, if we can't fund it, I'll still make it, but I'll be sad. Your kids are going to be like 50 before they get to listen to them. I mean, you'll benefit from it right away rather than way down the line somewhere.
Plus, you'll get some awesome prizes from our sponsors!
Okay, so me and my team are the only sponsors, but I think they're pretty cool. I think you'll like the prizes. Now, the Book of Mormon is huge, so we're going to separate this into 5 chunks, 5 separate projects that we'll be doing as Kickstarter projects. The first one, we're going to cover First and Second Books of Nephi. And that means the books, First Nephi and Second Nephi, not just chapter 1 and chapter 2. Just think of it. Your kids could be loving the Isaiah chapters before they're even old enough to read. So let's do this. Let's bring the scriptures to life for kids in a way they've never had available before. We can do it together.